Hi guys. So we're going to be going through this slideshow that you should already have completed in your course packet, and I think this is on page 12 or 13. But in that section, we're working on the avoiding passive and the writing musically. I've downloaded a video of this on the YouTube channel. You can check it out. You need to be working on this skill and making sure you're going through, correcting all your mistakes, and filling in correct versions. So, avoiding passive. So this is our third skill in the style. So, with the style skills, we worked on simplify, where we try to make strong, clear sentences that use strong verbs, and we remove unnecessary words, replacing weak words with stronger, more colorful descriptive words, primarily focusing on verbs. Then we talked about varying your syntax, where we use phrases to create a variety in sentence structure, and combining sentences that can be combined using the correct type of phrases and connectors. And here we are talking about how to make sure we're using active and not passive verbs. So I've dropped some videos that you already watch. If you go back through the journal at previous class times, you'll find videos. If you don't understand what passive verbs are, you need to make sure and watch those videos until you get it, until you know the difference between a passive and an active verb. But I'll repeat it here. A passive verb, an active verb is your standard verb. The subject of the sentence is the one doing the action. In a passive verb, the subject of the sentence is the one getting the action done to them. So if I said, I gave Frank the money, I am the subject. I gave the money to Frank. So it's an active sentence. If I say, the money was given to Frank by me, the money is the subject of the sentence, but it's the one that's being given. So that is passive. Passive verbs, we often have to be plus what we call the past participle. So was given instead of gave. And then often we use the phrase by someone. So, for example, the sun is orbited by the earth. So here it's the earth that's doing the orbiting, but the sun is the one that is the subject of the sentence. And then we have is orbited. So this is the past participle with the to be verb is, and then by. Now, the reason we don't like passive, the whole point here is we want to avoid passive unless it's absolutely necessary. There are certain times where passive makes more sense. But in cases like this, it makes more sense to use the active verb. So we want to make sure that this, the one who's doing the action, is the subject. And we want to remove the is and use an active verb. And then we get to remove the by as well. So it makes a soft sentence into a stronger sentence. So the sun is orbited by the earth is improved to the earth orbits the sun. Now the earth is the one doing the orbiting. Now this one is a bit trickier. It has been said by Plato that it is dangerous for passions to rule a person. Instead, it was said that a person should be ruled by reason. So let's look. There's quite a few passives in the sentence. It has been said by Plato. Plato's the one who said it, so this is passive. We should say Plato said. Now we're going to change the verb said because said is a weak verb, and we also want to be using strong active verbs. So we want to change it to something like Plato suggested, argued, claimed, instead of said. So it has been said by Plato that it is dangerous for passions to rule a person. Instead, it was said, again passive, that a person should be ruled by reason. This is also passive. It is reason that is ruling a person. So let's look. Here's one possible correction. Plato claimed, strong active verb, that reason and not passions should rule a person's life. So now we're using all the skills here. We're simplifying, using strong active verbs, not passive, and we're using phrases effectively as well to create a much cleaner sentence. Look at how clean and clear this sentence is, the corrected one, compared to the original. It's shorter, but it's much, much stronger. We want our writing to sound like this at the bottom, not this at the top. There are many discoveries that have been made by scientists and mathematicians throughout the years. Okay? Discoveries that have been made, which can change to scientists and mathematicians have made many discoveries throughout the years. If we wanted to vary the syntax, we could move throughout the years to the beginning. Throughout the years, comma, scientists and mathematicians have made many discoveries. Also correct. There was an old man who was walking slowly across the street. The cars were almost hitting him, and they drove past him. You could say he was lucky not to get sent to the hospital. Now, the passive is actually here at the bottom, not get sent. Okay? And so we want to make that, more direct, or rephrase it in a way that is not passive. At the same time, we can combine some of these phrases and improve the language a lot because the language is quite weak here. So let me give you a possible correction. We want to change this. There was an old man. That's a terrible way to start a sentence. We want to use a stronger language than this. So let's try this. Stumbling. Now remember, we like these descriptive words like stumbling. Stumbling as he crossed the street, the old man barely dodged the cars as they zoomed by. So instead of almost got hit by cars, he dodged them. This is a more active sentence. Luckily, remember our adverb phrases. So instead you could say he was lucky. We've cleaned that up to now it just is luckily he made it safely across. You could also say luckily, an accident didn't send him to the hospital. That would be active as well. That would be another way you could do it. But if we say to get sent, this is passive. Now again, passive isn't always incorrect, but right now we're practicing avoiding using it because active is going to be more effective. They say that for you to get sick, one of the things that can cause it is having the fan turned on you after you are wet from a shower. However, it is not known where this theory came from, and it is yet to be proven in a science experiment. Okay, we have a lot of passive here, and a lot of just weak language. So they say, this is kind of a vague way to say it, so we want to use better language. Get sick is another passive construction. One of the things that can cause it is having the fan turned on you after you're wet from the shower. However, it's not known where this theory came from, and it is yet to be proven. Okay? Also passive. So again, we're looking at now simplifying and only using active verbs. So let me give you a possible solution. Now, hopefully you've already tried this on your own because these take time. And there are other correct ways to do it. One unproven theory claims, so now we're saying the theory claims, active, that standing in front of a fan, active, while wet, can cause illness. So instead of get you sick, which is passive, we're saying cause illness, which is a strong active verb. So hopefully you can see, again, I hope you've tried these on your own, but hopefully you can see how using active verbs also completes our objective of simplifying the sentence with strong verbs and more direct language. So you can rewatch this video, write down all the correct answers, and compare them to the original to get a feel for correct style when it comes to passive verb. I'm going to drop another video here in a second, and we're going to focus on the other skill, the final of the 4 skills, writing musically.